Hey, do you need wallpaper? Go to wallpaperboulevard.com. Give them my name, tell them Spencer Colgan sent you, and they'll be sure to give you 10% off at checkout. Check it out. Tell them I said hello. They have a tremendous selection. Don't shop anywhere else until you've checked out www.wallpaperboulevard.com. This is Spencer Colgan, and welcome back to my YouTube wallpaper and painting channel. Today I'm hanging a rare product, in my opinion. It's, you don't often see this. This is actually from Wayfair. It reminds me of a Schumacher print, but it's vinyl. And the backing is high quality stuff. The front, different story. Although it's going to stand up to the test of time because it's vinyl, if you should bend this, like during the booking process, I see that the color started having spider cracks in it. So, a good installer that you aspire to be or that you already are, you know how to handle it. You handle it very delicately. Now, I did not want what I'm about to show you to happen. There's a new thing on the market, and that is to put a vanity in a bathroom with dead space in between the left side and the wall. This is a paper hanger's nightmare. There's no need for this. There's no need for this whatsoever, and I don't like it, and it seems to be the new thing, So because of this, I had to, you can't have a seam here for obvious reasons. So the closest thing was to get the seam here, etc., which brought me over to here. And, but you can't see it because I just installed the piece. It's right here. It's a double cut. I'm only 3 inches away, if that, from the corner, which is absurd. You never want that. Now it's a double cut, so I'm keeping this edge off of the wall so it doesn't stick too much. And I got my smoother in there. You don't want it stuck because it's going to be there for a while. So I don't want any issues when I go to double cut and pull the underlap away. In this corner, I'm off a full 1/2 inch. My laser dictated that this line was straight, which brought me over to here, right about here. See that? And I called the homeowner in and I said, we're wide at the top and we get narrow on the bottom. We're off a 1/2 inch. I said, we're going to lose pattern over here on this side. I said, I just want you to know. So he understood why. I mean, we're cutting out like a doctor cuts out tissue and reconnects. If I keep the pattern there, I'll push the wallpaper out here, and instead of this, I'll have this. Okay? So we have to eliminate that in order to come up to a straight edge here. By the way, there's a lot of ways to hang this sheet now. There is a two fellows, they're brothers in England, and they have a video on how to do this. And you measure. Let me tell you something. By the time you get done, you've spent 15 minutes. You've spent 15 minutes. I'm going to show you an easier way. I'm going to hang this sheet. And please just hear me out. I'm going to stop moving my sheet of wallpaper this way when I find the point at which all of the left side of this sheet is connected right to the corner. I can't go beyond the corner at my longest span. So if I miraculously go from here to the corner and stop, and it fits in with no overlap onto this side, well, that determines my edge of this sheet. Why is that? Because I know if I go in any closer up there, I'm going to overlap up here onto this sheet, and more so overlap onto this sheet. The idea is to find the place at which the least overlap is possible. So in theory, you can eliminate all of this measuring by simply realizing that the greatest overlap is going to be, I should say, the overlap, depending on how crooked your wall is, you'll have a little overlap and you'll have either an ascending or descending overlap as you go up or down accordingly. It really doesn't matter here, but I'm going to find the place. I'm going to push my wallpaper over here, overlap it, and then pull it this way. When my wallpaper stops overlapping at any point, I'm going to determine that's going to be the edge. And then wherever I have to overlap, I'm going to push the rest of the wallpaper into the corner so that it meets this line. I really don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. I just listened to myself. I don't think it makes sense to you. But the bottom line is this. Let's just go by a general principle. You're not going to overlap this sheet any more than you have to. And when you find out, by pulling the sheet out as much as you can without overlapping it, then you start making this edge straight. And where it's overlapped the least, because if you pull it out anymore to make it less overlapped, you're going to have a gap there. So that's going to make sense to you. Where it's overlapped the least, that's going to determine where your laser line will guide the rest of the sheet. You see, all of that measuring isn't necessary. It's simply a principle you have to follow. Let's just say it again. Find that point at which the least overlap is possible. When you find that after moving the whole sheet this way, this way, this way, you'll say, oh, the corner's pretty good here or here. I'm going to pull it out, and then you start making it, and you see, oh boy, in order to make this straight, I got to push it in here. You'll find out where your edge is by determining first where the corner gives you the least overlap. When you find the least overlap, mark the edge, and then set your laser on that. You'll have to play with the whole sheet, but it only takes a minute or two. You'll find it. The least overlap is going to keep your pattern intact, right? Now, let's just put it right up against the corner. Okay. Now this sheet is right up against the corner. Okay? Now you may not be able to tell that it's not plumb, but I'll show you. Let me bring you up close so you can see. See that gap there? Now, could you hang the rest of it crooked? I only have one full sheet here and then. Well, here's what's going to happen. You're going to lose that bird's head. You see that? You're going to lose the head if you do that. If you lose the head, it could be that the ceiling is off, but you don't want to lose the head because of your mistake. So, I know that I'm in the corner, and I know this is a straight line. So let's pull out the wallpaper to the laser and see where we lose pattern first. All right. Okay. At the bottom, I've really lost a lot of pattern. So my wall is straighter at the top than at the bottom. Because in order to bring my wall covering, without adjusting it, I've lost a lot of pattern. I should show it to you. Without adjusting the sheet, look what I've lost. So we know that the wall comes in here. This wall comes in, right? So it gets confusing to explain. I ain't losing much pattern there. No, the higher I go, I start, look at this leaf. Look at how much I lost there. So ideally, you want to pull that out so you don't lose that much, right? But you're not going to piece wallpaper together a ½ inch away. This is your corner. We just have to make the wall covering straight now. Okay? Knowing that we have to sacrifice pattern for this. Now, if I've confused you, this will clarify it. The overlap from that little piece onto this wall, my underlap behind this sheet gets wider on the bottom so that this edge can fit from here into the corner. As a consequence, when I hang this sheet, bring it over here, my corner is going out that way. It's going out. So my wall covering, this sheet has to go into that wall to meet the crookedness. Now that should clarify. That's why I'm losing pattern. And so this variation, the greatest variation of lack of plumb determines, the greatest variance, the greatest error determines, that's what I meant to say before, the greatest error whereby the wall covering has to go into the corner to make up for the crookedness, consequently creating not a bad area to have loss of pattern, right behind the toilet bowl area. That determines your laser. I set my laser on this now because I can't move this out anymore. It has to stay in there to accommodate the crooked corner. And from this area, my line goes up. And you can see now that it doesn't affect the top. Doesn't affect it. Because we know the top is far more straight than the bottom. And so if I could redo the video, which I'm not going to do, the greatest variation, meaning the greatest error in the wall, will determine the edge of the wall covering. Okay? I'll prove it to you. If I move this sheet out, I'm not going to meet the corner. It's going to be a gap there. And we know that that's where the wall kicks out. And so our wallpaper had to go in more here than it did here and there. Now I hope I redeemed myself by that explanation. See, you don't need all the measuring. You don't need it. You just have to understand the principle in order to avoid the tape measure and the plumb line and all of that. You just do your plumb line and understand the principle, you'll get it. By the way, I asked the customers with a straight face, I said to the guy, "Sir, can you tell me which way you want this wallpaper hung, which is top and which is bottom? I gotta get moving here." His wife looks at him, she looks at me. The bird's head have to be pointing upward. She did this about 10 times. I said, "I'm only joking." Okay, I'm going to show you the double cut process. This is what I call a nail biter for paper hangers. First of all, you have to make sure your product is sufficiently booked. You don't want this product moving on you after you do a double cut because you haven't booked it sufficiently. Booking is the process by which the backing is wet by either water or paste. In this case, paste. And you have to overlap the pattern perfectly. Because if you don't, some nosy person who's got nothing better to do is going to be looking right here. You gotta be perfect here. It's a nail biter. It really is a nail biter. Looks good now. We hate it as paper hangers. We hate this. Why do a double cut product? I don't get it. Does anybody get it? But after it has relaxed on the wall, then you're going to cut it. Now, I don't need a laser. I have an edge to follow. I'm going to follow this edge. See, this is only a 1/2 inch overlap. And this is why it's a nail biter. If you are not straight here, oh my goodness, you'll cut through this and you'll have a gap. Please, it's happened to me. This sheet edge has to be straight. This sheet, if this is straight and this matches over it perfectly, you can presume that this therefore is straight. You remember in school, if P then Q? Okay. What I'm doing is simply making my guide parallel with the edge that I'll be throwing out. Okay. Let's bring you up close. Like I said, it's a real nail biter. See? See that? Not easy, folks. Not easy. See that? Take your time. Take your time. And charge accordingly. Don't be charging a couple of $100s for this job. This takes an expert, because you can blow this real quick. I don't care how many years you've been doing this. So we got rid of our overlap, but now we have to reach under and pull out the underlap. Look how thin it is. Okay, look. See that? Ridiculous. Give us an inch, not a half an inch. Okay, now let's see how we did. Perfection. Perfection. You can't see the seam. I love doing this. Look at that. And you can do this, but you know what? You may blow it like I did when I first started double cutting. Because you rush. You rush. Gotta get done, the customer's rushing me. Gotta get done, got another job tomorrow. No. No. You charge accordingly and you take your time. Perfection. And you can do this too. And you know you can. And you only mess it up when you rush. Go for it. You can do this. Okay, this was not easy to get into. I just did the double cut. Couldn't video it. Nothing behind me to put the camera on. Okay, I'm getting my overlap out of here. How do you like this one? How do you like this one? Come on now. Okay. Not too shabby. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's the seam right there. Look at that. That's our seam right there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. That's your seam. After doing this for a few hours, let me tell you something. It gets old. Seriously. It gets old, you know? And I gotta tell you something. Get conventional wall covering. You don't need to be playing around with this stuff, you know? Okay, so I took my overlap, I got my underlap. Got it. Not too bad. So, here's all our underlaps and overlaps, okay? Now, I wouldn't tell you this if it weren't true. This is perfection. And I'm not bragging. You can achieve this. I told you earlier. You do this too. Just take your time. Apply the principles. Don't rush. Once you rush, you're done. You're done, done. You can't even see the seams on this stuff. But I gotta tell you, it's knocking me out. 1/2-inch overlaps. First of all, it's the company who made that, they never hung it, they never did any consultation. Half an inch is not enough. And it's a lot of work to knock that thing into position. For instance, this last sheet here, it was good. Then I hung this one, but I hung both, but I trimmed this one. I come up to this, it's off after it was perfectly aligned. It settled, it constricted. And so I had to realign it. I had to take it off the wall, the sheet right here, and put it back on to align it. But look at the perfection I achieved. Where are we? Okay, folks, we're right here. There we are, see? I mean, you look at that seam. So anyway, I know everybody watching this can do it. Just apply the principles. The panels must remain square, meaning each side of each panel must be parallel to the next, which means it can't be doing this. It has to be straight. If it is, overlap it. If it looks overlapped perfectly, it is. Go for it. Okay. You judge for yourself. This was the most time-consuming part. Getting it in there. Trust me, it's in there. Trust me, it's in there. I just hope they stop making vanities like that. Okay. I'll show it once again all cleaned up. What the heck is going on? I tried to do a fake out. This is an eyesore, right here. That's all right here, as long as I continue those flowers. You know, I'd have to get another flower like that. But what I decided to do, and the homeowner caught me. He caught me. He caught me. You know, an artist doesn't reveal everything he does. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Alrighty. probably one of the most challenging installs I've ever done. I can tell you that it's seamless. I put a lot of effort into this one. I put a lot of effort into it. I love what I do. And it's just got to be perfect. But nothing's perfect, but I want it to be to the best of my ability. That's really the theme of my work. Why do something, less than what you can do? Right? Why not go all out and do your best? That's what I do. I do my best. And I charge accordingly. I don't take every job that's offered. I don't. Because they're just not worth the time. If you have to put a lot of time and energy into a job, you have to get paid for that time, because otherwise you're going to get aggravated and you're not going to do your best. And that's not good for you, and that's not good for the customer either. Thanks for watching.